Okay, guys, we have introduced this course, health psychology, and we will immediately want to start with the definition of stress. As we understand that in health psychology, the course is wanting at this stage to see how some health issues relate to your psychology and how some psychological situations also interpret to your bodily situations, right? Why would somebody sad lose appetite? And why would somebody sick in the body feel down and sad? Right? You see that these two things are interwoven. So stress, as one of the major topics we're going to be reviewing, we are going to define it. Personally, as a final year student, personally I want you to have a good understanding, so you write well in your exam. Please don't write like a first year. So we understand that stress, we have a stimulus-based definition which is not comprehensive enough. We have a response-based definition which is not so enough for you to say this is what stress means. Now I'll start with what is the stimulus-based. Stimulus-based definition of stress is when we define stress as any situation or event that is individual, that is seemingly threatening or overwhelming to an individual. Example: your work is stressful, too much work. Example: bad relationship. Example: exam time is stressful to some people, right? Now, you will notice that this stimulus-based definition is not enough. You tell us that this is a stimulus-based definition, but it is not enough to define stress or to capture the meaning of stress, because we have an understanding that what could be stressful to another one person may not be stressful to another. You may be feeling this situation is stressful, but you may be saying, oh, I got this promotion and I'm feeling stressed. That's too much work. Why did that person want to go there so that the person will improve her skills and get better as a career person, right? So you see, that's a limited situation or definition of stress. Now, on the other way around, we may also see example of a response-based definition. Hans Selye, yes, Hans Selye is a Harvard endocrinologist. So he is a master in these people that in person that study the endocrine system, the ductless glands, right? So Hans Selye provided that definition of stress, and it's in those days, right? Because he later enhanced his work, but he said that stress could be individuals, the body's response, the body's perception and response, or let me use the word, he said individuals' response to events, stressful situations, or stressful or threatening situations. Your response to those threatening events or situations, that is a stress. Oh, why are you stressing me? You understand? You see that he's talking about how your body, your heart rate, the physiological explanations, and how your body became, the headache and everything. Oh, this is your response. You feel scared, you feel down, you feel worried, you feel you're out of this world. You say, oh, come on, you're going to stress. You see, because of your physiological responses, the sleep is gone. You couldn't sleep, the headache, and your health is even weighing down and everything. Your response to these threatening situations or events, that is a response base. But again, is it enough? when you are running the whole fever because exam is coming, the other person is running excitement and ready to take all the videos or these pictures due to exam, right? Just like that, right? So for us to try to capture a comprehensive definition of stress, we would want to capture these two areas, these response-based and stimulus-based definitions. So according to Lazarus and Folkman 1984, they said that stress is defined as a process by which individual perceive and respond. Please, let's follow it. When an individual perceive, one is a perception. You remember they have interpreted it, right? Now, respond to situations or events that they have appraised to be overwhelming or threatening. Do you understand? This is a very good definition that captures the evaluation of the stimulus and the reaction towards that stimulus, the response. So stimulus base is there, response base is there. So this is by Lazarus and Folkman 1984. And having said that, it's important I try to discuss what they talked about when I talked about the cognitive appraisal theory, or you call it the transactional model. So this definition shows you or helps you to understand that there is, before any situation is deemed or called regarded to as stress, there is an appraisal, taking us to what we call the transactional model. Please, I'm discussing it under this, but you should expect to see it separately. This transactional model, the two types of appraisal. So they are saying that we appraise, we evaluate this situation before we interpret it and then respond to it as a stressful situation or event, right? So the primary appraisal, according to the cognitive appraisal theory, that we individuals react to these things separately. We react to stress separately, and that's why they provided this. Lazarus and Folkman provided this cognitive or transitional model of stress, or this cognitive appraisal theory, giving us two types of appraisals: primary appraisals, secondary appraisals. The primary appraisal is when primary appraisal refers to that moment you are considering the severity or how threatening, the danger that situation poses. Yeah. Oh, a lady just touched, for example, maybe you did some BSc, breast self-examination, and you discover a little lump. Okay. This little lump cannot be said to be a stress, but contingent on your appraisal to the situation. So the first appraisal is how severe do you evaluate that situation. Exam is by the corner. How do you appraise that situation? Oh, I think I'm going to fail. Oh, I think this new job will just wear me out. I can't cope with it. I think it will finally show my inabilities, and I may be, people respond and evaluate the situation. The severity of situations are not appraised equally. And having done that, it takes us to the next level. If individuals have seen the level of severity, the level of threat or posed by that situation, it takes us to the next appraisal, that is secondary appraisal. This is where they check if they have every resources that are, to check one, the available resources to cope and overcome that situation, and how effective those resources are. Yes. Okay. For example, a student may appraise exam as so fast and I think it's going to solve a problem and everything, and I don't know how I'm going to, but one will come with this secondary appraiser. Well, we may have to take it towards night class. You know, when what we talked about, what we talked about, what is it called? Self-efficacy by Albert Bandura. Individuals' knowledge about their ability. Oh, I think I can do it. Presentation, come on, I'll do anything I want to do. And one may come about, like I said, the breast self-examination, the lump, you say, okay, I think I can go through it. Thank God there are facilities. One might have appraised it. Oh no, this is terminal. This primary appraiser. This is terminal. How am I going to overcome this? And I don't know. And this by what's it called? Chemotherapy is dangerous and it will remove all my hair. Oh no, I don't think I can handle it. They haven't seen it, so it has not been diagnosed to be cancer, right? But they have appraised it to be threatening, and they are also not having faith in one, their self-efficacy to go through it, and the available resources to be effective. They didn't see it to be effective, and they didn't see themselves on having what it takes to go through that situation. This is when that stress will be very dangerous to their health, right? But on the other way around, one can evaluate, oh, thank God I found this early. Well, thank God for technology. It's a little operations that will be, I'll just, or maybe take drugs. There are drugs that one can take for that, and it will be gone, or operations or surgery, right? And the thing will be gone, and the person picks her bag, his or her bag, her bag, and goes to work and lives her daily life, right, without being brought down by that kind of stress or being that overwhelmed by the stress, right? Appraisals. So you discover in this video we have talked about what is stress, stimulus-based and response-based, and we provided a general review about stress, and you understand that in this response-based, it is not enough. Please, I needed to point something out here. Having talked about the cognitive appraisal theory, it is not enough for us to say individual response, right? Remember that we have two types of stress: eustress and distress. Eu, a Greek word meaning good, dis, a Greek word meaning bad, right? Eustress, oh, you won a lottery, okay, for example, you won this and that, and your heartbeat increase, you're excited, and your whole body, the adrenaline pumps, and you are jumping, and your heart is beating, and whoa, you're even sweating, right? Tears of joy also. The same way you receive a bad news, your heart rate increase, and your adrenaline pumps, and your eye dilates, and you are even sweating. You see the same response to even good and bad. So can we say a stress is individual response? No. That is why we try to provide a general definition of stress as a process by which an individual perceive and respond to events or situations that he or she has appraised to be overwhelming or threatening. Lazarus and Folkman, 1984, providing also their transactional stress model that individuals evaluate these things separately, and the stressful situation or the situations separately, which determines the kind of stress they will be exposed to. Where we talked about the primary appraisal and secondary appraisal. In primary appraisal, we review the severity of the situation, and in secondary appraisal, we talked about what it takes to go through it, the available resources. So in this summary, we understand that stress is in the eyes of the beholder. Stress is in the eyes of the beholder. Are you seeing it to be that threatening or severe, and you feel, despite the severity, there is available resources to go through it. Stress is in the eyes of the beholder. See you in the next video.